follower DM me recently and ask if it's possible to make a dynamic task list in Excel that changes the color of the row when a task is completed and moves it to the bottom of the list. And it absolutely is. That's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. We're going to use conditional formatting to change the color of the whole row when a value in a certain column is changed, and then move that item to the bottom of the list. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is change the color of the whole row if a value is entered in column E. So we're going to do this with conditional formatting. The first thing you're going to do is select the whole range that you want this to apply to, which in my case is A2 through E8. Come up to conditional formatting, click new rule, and I want to use a formula to determine which cells to format. So down here in the formula bar, you're going to do equals and then a $sign and the letter E, because I'm looking at when a value in column E is added. So if your values where you're entering data is different, make sure you don't do column E, you do the one where you're entering data. And then my row reference, mine starts on row 2. So I'm just going to enter the number 2 here. So again, if yours starts somewhere else, make sure you type that number here. And then the value we want it to look at is if the value is greater than 0, which just means there's something in that cell. And then you can apply whatever formatting you want. So I'm going to click this format button. What I want it to do is add a gray fill, change it to a dark gray font, and strike out the text. So starting with the fill color, I want this middle gray. And then I'm going to come back to font. I want it to change the font color to this dark gray. And I also want it to strike out the text. So I'm going to enable this strike through effect. Click OK, click OK. And now if I enter a value in column E, like I'll enter today's date, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut, which is Control semicolon, click enter, and it strikes out that row. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is move these completed tasks to the bottom of the list. But we are going to do this with VBA, which means our workbook needs to be macro enabled. So this one that I'm currently in is not macro enabled, so I'm going to save a copy of it in case you don't know how to do that. So I'm going to come to File, Save a Copy, and I'm just going to save it on my desktop, give it a name. I'm going to call mine Task List 2. And then down here in this Save As type, this is where you can change and make it macro enabled. So you can either do macro enabled or binary workbook. Either one will work in this case. I'm going to do binary, click Save, and now my workbook is macro enabled. So the first thing we're going to do is use the macro recorder to write a little bit of VBA code for us, and then we're just going to modify that code a tiny bit. So I'm going to select my whole range, and then I'm going to start the macro recorder. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut, which is Alt-TMR. So that's what the macro recorder looks like. You can give your macro a name if you want to. We're not going to end up using it, so I'm just going to leave it as macro 1, and you want to store it in this workbook. Click OK, and now the macro recorder is running. So I'm going to come up to Data, the Data tab, and click Sort. So what we want our code to do is sort our data by the date completed column, and we don't want it to sort it by values, we want it to sort it by color. And what we want is for whatever color we use in conditional formatting to be at the bottom. So in this order section, you can click this no cell color and click the cell or click the color that you chose in conditional formatting. And we want that color on the bottom. So you're going to change this to on bottom. And if you have headers, which you most likely do, make sure this box is checked. It does do it by default most of the time, but just as a double check, make sure that is checked. So we want it to sort by the date completed column on cell color, and we want this gray color at the bottom. Click OK, and that's all we want the macro recorder to do for us. So you can click stop down here, and now the macro recorder has stopped. So let's take a look at that VBA code that it wrote for us and tweak a couple of things. So now I need to open the VBA editor to see that code that the macro recorder wrote for us. So I'm going to use another keyboard shortcut. It's Alt F11, and that just opens the VBA editor. So it should look a little something like this. And here's the workbook that has my task list. What the macro recorder did is added a module. So if you expand this folder, here's the module that it created for us. And inside of that module, we have what's called a sub-procedure. So this is the VBA code that it wrote for us. And it might look a little bit intimidating, but there's only a few things we need to change, and I'm going to walk you through them step by step. So the first thing is right now our code is referencing sheet 1, and I don't want it to do that because if I ever change the name of my worksheet, it's going to break my VBA code. So instead of worksheets sheet 1, I want to replace this with active sheet. And we're going to end up doing something else that will make sure the active sheet is the one that has our task list in it. So for now, just trust the process. And then I'm going to copy this active sheet, and replace it down here as well. So on this second line, just paste over worksheets sheet 1. And then down here as well on this with active workbook dot sort. So just paste over worksheets sheet 1. And the next thing we need to change is the range that it's sorting. So right now, let me actually minimize this so you can see these side by side. So what the code wrote for us is range E2 through E8, which right now is correct. But if you ever add rows to your data, we want this to automatically expand. So we need to make the endpoint dynamic, which means the VBA code will count how many rows are in column E and automatically update that number. So to do that, we're going to declare a variable. So I'm going to erase all this green text. We don't need it. Just click enter and type the word dim. This just means we're declaring a variable. And now we need to give our variable a name. So I want my variable to be called last row. And then we need to tell VBA what kind of data type this is. And I'm going to use the long data type. So as long. Long is just a number. So all we're doing here is telling VBA that we want to use a variable called last row somewhere in our code. And a variable is kind of just like a sticky note. You're like writing it on a value and using it later in your code. So now we need to set the value of that variable. So what we want to do is come to the end of this line and enter a couple times, and then type the name of your variable, which in my case is last row, equals, and what we want to do is count how many rows are in column E. So you're going to type the word cells, open parenthesis, rows dot count, comma, and then in quotes, the letter E, or wherever your column is, close parentheses, dot end, open parentheses, Excel up, open parentheses, dot row. So that all that's doing, it's very long and annoying, but all that's doing is counting how many rows are in column E currently. So now we just need to replace this endpoint with that variable. So what this line right here is the range that it's looking at your sort value. In our case, that's our date completed column. So what you're going to do is erase this 8. So you should have E2 or whatever column you're referencing, colon, E quote, and then come on the outside of the quote, but inside of the parenthesis, and do space, and then the ampersand, and then the name of your variable. So like I mentioned, now instead of always ending on row 8, it's going to count how many rows are in column E and use that number instead of a hard-coded number. And then we need to do that down here as well. This is the column that it's looking at your sort criteria, but this is the actual range that it's sorting, including your headers. So just like before, we're going to erase the 8 because we don't always want it to end on row 8. If you add new data, we want it to automatically expand. And then after the quote, but inside of the parenthesis, and sign, and then the name of your variable, which in my case is last row. So that's all we have to update. Now there's just one last thing we have to do to make it update automatically when a value in this column is changed. So worksheets in Excel have these things called worksheet events. It's just when something happens in a workbook, like if something changes, if a value changes, that's a worksheet event. If a cell is clicked, that's a worksheet event. So we're going to use the worksheet change event to trigger this code. So I'm going to minimize VBA really quickly and come to the sheet that has my task list in it. And then I'm going to right click on the sheet and view code. And now I'm in the code for that specific worksheet. So up in this drop down, it's going to default to general. You can change it to worksheet. And the default is the selection change event, which is when a cell is clicked. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the worksheet change event. So I'm going to just erase the word selection. And now we're in our worksheet change event. So eventually we're going to take that code that the macro recorder wrote for us and paste it over here. There's just one thing we need to add first. We only want this code to trigger when a value in column E is changed. So the way we do that, it's very long and annoying the way you have to write it. And if you want me to deep dive on why it's written this way, I will. But in this case, I'm just going to show you how to write it. We're going to write if not intersect, open parentheses, target, comma, range, open parentheses, and then in quotes. So my range starts on E2. This is just telling it what range you want it to look at when it's considering what is changing. So if E1 is changed, I don't want this code to run. I want it to start on E2. And it could be anywhere from E2 to I don't know, I'm going to do 500,000. You could also use a variable here so it counts the number of rows in column E. But in this case, I'm just going to hard code that value because I'm never going to have more than 500,000 rows in column E. And then quote on the end, close parenthesis, actually two close parentheses, is nothing, then enter a couple times actually, and if. So like I said, that was very long and annoying, but all this line is doing is making sure that our code only runs when a cell in this range changes. I just needed to change that from a lowercase e to a capital E. It would work either way. I'm just very picky. So now we can take that code that the macro recorder wrote for us and paste it over here. So we're going to come back to module 1. This is the module that the macro recorder created for us. Just double click it and copy everything except sub macro 1 and end sub. We don't want those. So everything from our variable to end with. I'm just going to copy this and then you should be able to just minimize this. And now we're back in our worksheet change event code. So I'm just going to maximize that window. So now come to the very end of this line, enter a couple times, and just paste in that code. So now anytime a value in this range, or anytime a cell in this range changes, this code will trigger. It will just sort our data based on what's in column E. So I'm going to minimize the VBA editor and test it out. So let's say that this one was completed today. I'm going to enter today's date. I'm just going to type it in this time. So today is the 6th. Click enter. And our worksheet event triggered and just sorted our data. But if something changes somewhere else, like let's say this start date changed to whatever, 5/1, our code doesn't trigger because it's only running when a value in column E changes. I was just testing this and I made a rookie mistake, but I don't want to film the whole video over, so I'm just going to explain it and tell you how to fix it. So our last row variable is counting how many rows column E has to find the end of our range. But there could be instances where column E is empty. So instead, we're going to count column A and use that as our last row value. So if you don't have the VBA editor open, you can right click on the sheet and view code, and that will open the worksheet change event code. And then in your last row variable, we just need to count column A instead of column E, or where, whatever your first column is. So just change that E to an A, and now it should work like a charm. So let's test it out. I have one. I'm going to mark another one. I'll just do this one with the keyboard shortcut Control semicolon to add today's date. Click enter, moves it to the bottom. What wasn't working before is if you happen to remove one of these values, I wanted it to resort it and it wasn't doing that. Now, since it's counting column A to find the last row, it should work. So I'm going to remove this date completed, just click delete on my keyboard, and works like a charm.